Howdy dudes, this is B Junior from Endurance Productions YouTube channel. Going to do a DVD reviewer request today. Basically, I had a video sent to me. By the time this video goes up, it'll probably, I've had this video for a while, and I apologize for that, but ahead of time, I guess, while I'm filming this. But I wanted to give a quick shout out to fellow YouTuber by the name of waspspray, and I'll leave a link below for his YouTube channel. Fellow YouTuber waspspray has sent a movie for review today, and as I've always said, is most of the time if you'll send the movie, if it's something in the ballpark of what I like to watch, I will definitely try my best to do a review on it. What I'm going to review today is a independent horror movie by the name of Slashers. It's got a little gruesome cover going for it there. This was, of course, sent to me by this awesome YouTuber, and I told him, as in reply to a message he gave me, I would do a fair review of this movie. I finally watched it in its entirety, checked out the deleted scenes, everything that's on the disc here. Let's kind of get into the story, basically, then I'll tell you the pros and cons of what I think about it. The story of Slashers is basically, it's one of the kind of most dangerous game hunting man kind of storylines that kind of merges that with kind of killers on a game show kind of storyline. It's been done before in other movies, like, for example, the first one that comes to mind is The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which was kind of an American Gladiator style TV shows, things like that. What they do is, in this movie, they have contestants that are competing on this game show, Japanese style game show, and we'll get more into that in just a minute, that are basically on the game show to win a ton of money. But in stalker fashion, much like The Running Man, they have these three main killers here that are depicted on the front cover. Chainsaw Charlie, and I don't know, you know, they got some catchy phrases for their names there. The Preacher Man and Dr. Ripper, I believe, is the other two. They're basically sort of like the stalkers of the game. They're basically there just to kill the contestants, and if they live through the night or live through the session of this game show, they'll win all the money, the contestants' winnings. So that's basically the story of the movie. It's not really in-depth. You don't have to really think about it too hard or anything of that nature. I gotta say, coming away from the viewing experience overall, the post-viewing thoughts on it is, it's a different experience. It's much different than the usual run-of-the-mill slasher movie that I'm used to. You know, the killer in the woods, the backwoods slasher, that kind of thing. Mainly because of the way they've done this movie. This movie's all shot on video. It's not like a film style movie. You know, it doesn't look the same. It's shot in kind of like a real-time live format, and they kind of don't do it in an Americanized game show wraparound story to it. They basically, it's one of these Japanese style, real outlandish kind of game shows. If you've ever watched any of the overseas game shows from the Asian cultures of Japan and things like that, they started out with that and then basically set the game in motion, and it's just about the contestants running from their lives from these three main killers. And all three killers are different. They have their own styles of killing, that kind of thing. I gotta say, it's very, very different. It's overall probably not my cup of tea as far as something I want to watch over and over again. But if you're cruising for something different to watch in and around the horror genre, you probably would want to give this one a chance. You know, you probably Netflix it. It is one of these Fangoria Presents movies. I've seen a few of these around, but I haven't had time to really sit down and watch a whole lot of them. But in terms of something different and kind of mashing up different styles of Japanese game show and live video formatted horror movies in the independent style, this is your film, because like I said, it's got some really out there visuals in the movie. The acting is, you know, you don't really ever expect a whole lot in the acting department from these type of movies, but it's just, I do give them props for, I can kind of see where they were going with this idea, you know, of film. You know, my only major con for this movie and gripe about it is that if they would have tried to just, even if they bought cheap film stock, if they could have just filmed this on 16mm or 35mm, some kind of film format, whether they went grainy with it or not, I think that would have gave it a more realistic feeling to it, because the special effects in the movie, the practical effects with the chainsaws and stuff like that, those were pretty cool. I mean, I really enjoyed those parts of it. But for an overall viewing experience, it kind of, that live format, if they could have just kept that to just the game show portion of it at the first and maybe switched to film or something of that nature, could have done a little bit different. That's my only major gripe to the film, because I can kind of see the idea of the film was very interesting, and I can kind of see where they've gone with it, or were going with it. There are no rules, as the tagline says here on the back, and anything goes for ratings and the ultimate reality extravaganza. One thing I thought was really kind of kooky about it, and really that I enjoyed, is that during the commercial breaks of the shows, they all have these little kind of dog collar things around their necks, and they get, if they don't follow the rules, they get an electric shock, kind of like Saw. You know, you get shocked. But basically, they have to hold off from any killing, any action, or anything during the commercial breaks. And the killer might be right there in front of them, but they just sit there and trade, have these little conversations with the killers and stuff, and they don't actually have any. They're not allowed to have any action during those parts. They can't be killed, and they can't kill the killer, and so forth. So it's a very different atmospheric experience. If you want something totally different that you've never seen before, this is your film. I wouldn't say go right out and do a blind buy and buy it or anything. That's just my opinion. But if you're looking for something different, probably Netflix it, or you know, find a buddy that's got it, borrow it, and see if it's your cup of tea first. 6 contestants, 3 slashers, no prisoners. That's kind of your overview as far as the story and my pros and cons on that. It does have a 16:9 enhanced widescreen, making of slashers documentary, director's commentary, deleted scenes, optional Spanish subtitles, cast bios and trailers, and a few other tidbits on there. It's directed, written, produced, and directed and edited by Maurice Devereaux. I'm not too familiar with Maurice Devereaux. I'm sorry if I should be. I'm sorry, but I don't really know too much about his works. Through this experience, I might try to look up some of the other things he's done, because if he's going to make something really off the wall like this, he might have something totally... He's probably going to be one of those directors that does something totally different every time. Could be wrong. But there again, this has been a reviewer request, or a viewer request, I should say, of slashers. Go check out waspspray's channel. He's the one that sent this. Thanks, waspspray, for the video here. Really appreciate the experience of it. It's quite different. You know, it was a lot. It just wasn't what I was expecting, but it wasn't what I was expecting in a good way, if that makes any sense. It's basically one of those films that about 5 minutes into the film, you're going to be kind of going, what in the world am I watching here? What, I don't totally understand this, but I'm okay. I'm in it. I'm in along for the ride. But as they get set loose into the game quad, basically, and then the killings start, and you kind of get where the filmmakers were going, what they were going for. I just wish they would have made it more of a film experience instead of a live video experience. That's just my major gripe about it. Overall, guys, if you're looking for something different, pick it up, Slashers. It's out there from Fangoria Presents and Blackwatch Entertainment. Check it out. Take care, dudes. I'll catch you next time. Rock on.